thing. We are live. What's it say down there? Can you see what it's saying?
It says John and Kyle art stream fast 5. I can't tell that, dude. I have contacts and that still is hard for me to read.
Oh, it's the hashtags.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was
Okay.
like, Fast 5, is Vin Diesel showing up tonight? What's going on?
Family.
Then you just
Okay,
bust.
so I'm gonna do that thing where I check real quick all the socials. Let's get some music. Let's get our playlist going.
Yeah, gotta get
Because
that
I
music.
still haven't had any amount of time to finally make enough music for this. Because my life is chaos. Chill instrumental beats. This is the playlist I dig. Okay, we'll just let this roll for a second because I'm going to go on Twitch and make sure we are live. Am my mic's on? Okay. Boom. Giles is what I just called us. Giles is live. Let me go in here to make sure.
Well, getting my hair cut this week, John.
Dude, that's brutal. It's like man down in a way, but I also get it because I've thought about it a lot too. But for obvious reasons, I'm not allowed to do that now.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing too. So I told my hair lady about it, and she got pumped. She got pumped, and she was like, "Oh, hey, we should donate it." I'm like, "All right, if anybody wants that mop, then like I'm down. I don't care."
You'd be surprised.
So it feels bad, but it also feels noble in a weird way now. So I'm not super upset about it.
Man, Twitch.
What's wrong with Twitch?
I don't know. It just doesn't really want to load sometimes. It might be this phone right now too. Hold on a minute.
You have problems with that phone or something?
Sometimes what happens is that it's a very old device, but also if different people have come in and out of here, which is not many, but a couple of cell phones is enough that I think there might be IP address issues.
Oh, I don't think I'm on your Wi-Fi, but it might connect automatic. Yeah, it is. I'll get it off of there.
No, you're fine. Stay on.
It doesn't matter to me.
I switched to the other router. I have 2 routers. See, like right now, it just won't load anything.
Right now, it won't load anything. It says 2 people have viewed. Is it just you twice?
Probably. It's me trying to get it to even see if it works. Okay, so YouTube is cranking, it looks like. Hello. That's a long delay.
It is a really long delay.
That's X. Let's see how Twitch is doing. I think it finally worked. I'm wondering if Restream is an issue.
It's like a bad program.
I don't know. A lot of people use it, and it seems like it gets good reviews, but I'm just wondering. Twitch won't even load. I don't think it works on Twitch.
Boo.
Yeah, I can't get Twitch to pull up. Let's see. Let me do something weird here. I hope this doesn't create some kind of odd feedback, but let me see how it works from here. See, from here it's almost instant.
Well, that's good.
See, from here it's almost instant. Okay. It might just be my old phone.
Maybe.
Ooh.
All mine, all mine, all mine, all mine. Dude, I've been listening to the Doom soundtrack every time I work out now, and I feel like it's like got me in a groove.
It's just good.
It's
I'm,
so good.
I'm starting to like instrumental metal a lot. Well, I've been kind of on that kick, but
Yeah, I was gonna say you've been that way a long time. I also like it, but I don't usually like it to the extent that I like the Doom soundtrack.
it's so good. It's so hyped.
I'm not gonna lie. So these are markers that people are really good at using, and I'm not super good at using them, but they're so fun.
Yeah? What makes you like it?
Well, it's hard. It's hard because like you got to pick the right paper, and I'm still experimenting with different types of paper because they tend to bleed real bad when you use them. So like if you use a thin paper, I used mixed media paper this time, and it's working a little bit better. But if you use like like if I would have used the actual paper from this sketchbook, like it'll bleed, and so like it just kind of like separates and like expands after you put a mark down, which is not fun.
All right. feel like maybe I should wash my hands. Don't forget to glance up and look at the chat sometimes.
Yeah. I got 5 views that I think are mostly you, but
Yeah, no, they are all me. Not mostly. All me. Because, we didn't really get the thing on the thing and the going yet. But it's
the thing
coming.
on the thing, and the green grass grows all around. I don't know what that was. Ooh. What'd you do to the lights?
Forgot that I made the lights dim.
Oh,
Or flicker or whatever. All right. Here I come.
how was your week, man?
So the water coming in on the basement made it so I had to call off work Monday. I don't know how long that had been going on, to be honest with you, with some of the things that got wet and the way that they were wet
Yeah.
and the way they smelled.
Yeah.
I think it had been sitting there for a little while.
Yeah.
Thankfully there was no damage to the drywall. It didn't seem. The trim was indeed damaged in the spots where it was the wettest. I did have to throw away some clothing and some stuff that we had in storage, but after I got it all, and finding fans was hard. I did find some fans that would work finally, because you can't just use a box fan. You kind of need something that's going to push the air strong enough to lift this.
Yeah.
So it was in those 2 rooms back there. So I got that taken care of. Got the dehumidifier running, and it's doing great, and everything's fine. It was bone dry now, and I put the room back together, and I'm just tired from that, man.
That's a big to do whenever that stuff happens.
It really was, and I'm glad that I could get this space, because this entire, you saw, I sent you a picture.
Oh,
This
yeah.
entire space was full of junk.
Yep. Yep. Adult stuff right there. No, I mean, we had so much rain, though, too.
Yeah, it's only happened twice. The one time it was way worse when it came into this room. This is long before we just decided to start doing anything. Kyle, it
Excuse me.
was nearly standing water to about halfway up this fireplace.
Yeah.
And then basically the carpet was wet otherwise.
Yeah.
Almost all the way over there to where that table I'd made was.
Jeez.
And this was almost standing water completely. This whole back area here was full of water, and then there was almost standing water all the way up to about right where you're at almost. And then it was wet all the way over to there. And I should have been in Florida, and at the last minute decided not to go with Marie to Florida. And our house would have been brutal by the time we finally got back. I was here and noticed it, and man, it was crazy.
Yeah. My basement at my house has not flooded, but my parents' basement is flooded. And I used to live in the basement. So, like, it was like you'd wake up, it'd be real early in the morning because it's just concrete floors down there. It wasn't super finished. And my bed was down there. So I'd like go to bed and I wake up and I'm the kind of person like when I wake up and I get up, my eyes are closed and I kind of just zombie everywhere.
Yep.
So you'd put your feet down on the floor barefoot and then you just hear the splash and then feel the coldness and it like shocks you awake so bad. Dude, it was the worst way to wake up.
It's brutal, man. It's not a pleasant experience.
No.
It's not a pleasant experience.
And the green grass. Now I got that stupid song stuck in my head. What's weird too is once these dry, especially like yellow, I put it down really, and it's really dark, and then you just let it sit there for a little bit and it gets super light. Something just super relaxing about coloring too. Yeah, there's a learning curve on these that I still haven't adapted to. Plus, I don't use them that much. A lot of people that use them do draw anime characters a ton, and I don't. This is literally the second time I've drawn an anime character and messed with this.
It's cool though. It looks neat. The kids were really
Digging
like,
it?
yeah, they were kind of goofing on it. They were like, "What is up with this guy? Is that his mouth?"
Yeah. No, he's a weird looking dude. So the character he's a superhero, but he has this is that one where I told you where it's like the X-Men, but what they do is he has this power that he's had passed down from generation to generation where somebody has it, they call it all for one. Or wait. It's one for all. All for one's the bad one. And one for all is the one that's good. So he has one for all, which someone passed down to somebody else who passed it down to somebody else. And like the power deteriorates if you don't pass it on. So he started getting to the point where he has this real gangly, like sunken in cheeks and big mouth and like super dark eyes. But when he powers up, he's this big, hulking, muscular, like ridiculously looking superhero guy. And this is a picture from his final battle where like the bad guy, all for one, who steals people's powers and for himself.
Hearing this,
he is fighting him for the final time that his power can he can actually use it, and so he ends up having to channel it into like one arm, so his one arm's muscular, whereas like everything else of him, like that's why his uniform's like sagging off of him and stuff.
got you.
It's a very intense moment in the, if you're familiar with the story.
I'm jammed with this one a couple times. I'll bring it back.
Boom, doo, doo. Dude, I gotta mow my grass tomorrow.
Ooh.
We've had all this rain, and so last weekend I couldn't do it, and it was long, and then it was cold, and I was like, man, I should do it today. And I looked, and today's high was only supposed to be like 48, even though it got into the mid 50s. And then tomorrow is supposed to be a little bit warmer in the mid 60s.
Gotcha.
So I was like, I'll do it tomorrow.
Yep.
Ooh. Color there. That's the other thing is all these, I'm not familiar with all the colors yet that I have.
I am going to turn this back off. I'm just all over the place. I'm glad no one's watching. I'm going to turn this back off because I'm going to turn this music back on because I am halfway distracted. Buddy Colin's asking me some questions. I should be ignoring him because technically we're doing a live stream, but because nobody's watching, I feel like it's okay. Let me see if I can get this to work on my phone. I'm really always concerned a little bit about the fact that I can't get it to pull up on here. Huh, okay, seems to be working on here. Oh yeah. Okay, sick. That's the thing I like about this show a lot. This anime, the superhero one, is, I think I've told you this before, but like their powers come at a cost. Whereas like the X-Men are kind of like formulated in a way where it's like they're discriminated against because it's just who they are, you know? They have these abilities and stuff. And there's discrimination in the My Hero Academia universe, obviously, like especially because there's certain people that whenever they get a quirk, they
they don't look like a human still. They end up looking like an animal. Or there's literally a guy, this is why it's kind of funny, because it still is kind of bananas. There's literally a guy, and I don't know what he does, but he looks like his head is like a spray bottle.
Huh.
So it's like a lot of the stuff in it is still kind of like funny, otherworldly almost. But it is cool that like in this universe, like even the people like, so there's this one girl who when she touches things, for example, she can make them levitate. So if she touches something, it becomes like it has this aura on it that levitates it. Now, if she touches that thing, or if she touches her hands together, it releases it and the thing falls. But if she uses that power too much, she gets nauseated and throws up. There's a really goofy little kid that has like grapes that grow out of his hair that are like sticky, and he can pull them off and throw them at things, and they're unbelievably sticky. But if he does it too much, his head starts bleeding, everything, and like he gets like really fatigued.
That's wild.
So there's a lot of that stuff in there where it's like, oh, okay, like there's consequences to the utilization of their power, which is interesting. What's Colin talking to you about?
Oh, all sorts of fun stuff.
Oh,
I
nothing.
shouldn't be paying attention to it.
Nothing streamable conversation.
I would never stream anything he says. And if he was watching, he would probably think that was amazingly hilarious and very true.
Is this that one guy that
No, this isn't Jippy. I don't know
Oh.
who this is. This is a random list.
It's funny that you knew exactly who I meant by
Oh, yeah, I 100% knew. I 100% knew. I was talking to him a little bit about what we're doing.
Oh yeah.
And then he laughed, and I said, "What? You don't like the plan?" And I realized that I told him I was texting him while I should be paying attention to my live stream, but no one's watching, so it doesn't matter. And I realized that was the part he thought was funny.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. I need to get... Man, this week I've just had, man, I mean, it's just... My mind's all over the place. I feel like a shell of a human right now. I kind of didn't really get the boost I wanted from the gym, and everybody was in the same mood I was at the gym, so we were just sitting there sulking. And feeding each other's woes. And I learned some stuff about one of the guys that I'm buddies with there. I'm not going to say any names or say any more than that. That blew my mind. It's not that it's bad. It was just kind of like, oh, I don't know. Just an intense conversation out of nowhere.
Yeah.
My head is all over the place.
I'm not in the terrible space.
I had one heck of a week, man, with the water going on, the thing that I can't speak out loud about, and the second thing I can't speak out about.
You're
And
just killing yourself with secrets, suffocating.
This week has been wild, man. And just raw dogging it. Also,
Yeah.
people would blow people's minds the fact that I'm not on any kind of antidepressants.
Yeah.
And I'm not leaning on any substances. It would just blow their mind. There's no alcohol or THC floating around over here, and it's just raw, dude. There's no SSRIs. This is raw, and life's coming after me. And it's just raw. I'm gonna have to start taking my part of this more seriously instead of just sitting here being lazy and talking to you while you draw. But I think I am gonna take advantage of that tonight because I'm having a hard time feeling like I want to focus music.
Yeah. No, I get it. Honestly, that's the thing too, is like, I don't know, I get, and you got good reason to want to push yourself more out of what you're doing right now. But at the same time, I get it. I don't always feel like doing art stuff. And yeah, there's an element of discipline to that. At the same time, man, there's sometimes where it's just like, if you force it, it's almost like it might set you back more than it helps you, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. Yeah, my head is just, I might start playing here in a little bit just to play, but I don't feel as compelled to when there's not anybody looking, and I have sabotaged myself by texting, and then my mind is not 100% focused, so I gotta get refocused. I'm gonna actually put this away. I'm gonna get refocused. Yeah, I don't really know what to make of it, man. I'm all over the place right now.
Yeah.
I've been reading the book. I had some time today to actually look at it.
Yeah.
And I'm proud of it, man. I can't wait to share it with people. I've got 3 people in mind. I think after I'm gonna revise big parts of it. Not big parts, but I'm gonna revise. I did notice what you were saying, how Grammarly did chop a couple parts up and make it weird.
Yeah.
Because when you mentioned that, I started to look at mine, and I was like, actually, I think that did it to me too. So there's a couple of parts that I have to fix like that. I'm gonna take that one part out that I mentioned to you because you even said something about it when it was in there initially that it seemed a little intense, and you weren't gonna touch that subject. And I think that is honestly the smarter call because of this. I actually address my main point about that specific topic earlier without the arrows.
Yeah.
I hit my main focus of really what I want you to get from that earlier without even going down that path, and I'm just kind of sitting here going, maybe that's not the way to go right now. Yeah. So I do want to take that out and not seem so combative. And I want to add that part that I mentioned to you about talking to women. Like this part where I pretend that I've written a letter to my daughters.
Yeah.
So I'm not a woman, I can't talk about female perspective, but if I was pretending like they could read, if I wasn't here one day and they had one thing to read that was what Dad would want them to see. That part, I realized that it comes off just purely mansplaining, and I'm not going to change that. I'm unapologetically going to leave that. But I want to put in there a more emotionally driven and sincere thing. Like, how do I actually view you? Like, not what you're supposed to do, not what I think you should do to be healthy, but how do I actually see you?
Right.
How do I actually view you? You know, I asked him a really cool question recently based off of some conversations that you will immediately know where it stems from, but the secret is kept from the internet. Where I said, to the 10 and 6-year-old, what do I do right now that makes you feel like I love you? And the responses were, a few of the things were typical, a few of the things were very surprising. And then the next thing I asked was, is there anything that you would like me to do or that I should do more that would make you feel love that maybe I don't notice? And they couldn't come up with anything. And I can't lie, that made me feel very good. I think it's going to get more complex when they get older.
Yeah.
But for right now, I was like, that felt good. To get out of them, because again, I'm noticing and very convicted about how important it is just straight up for any kid, to be honest with you. But I feel like a guy, because of the way the world is in its broken, sinful state, it's not ideal, but a man can survive on his own. The female needs a community. I mean, she has to have one. And where am I going with that?
You tell me, brother.
I lost my train of thought. Like, she needs a community. I can get away with being alone a little bit more. I forgot. I lost my thought. Oh, that's why I think a guy, I'm not saying it's likely, but there is a larger chance of him being able to overcome. Whereas with a female, I think without a really good communicative support mechanism, it's extremely difficult for that to happen.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why the absence of a father or the presence of a father that didn't try to love you, to me, seems to really dig on a kid of any, of any one of the sexes, but really starting to notice that, man, that dad thing for those little girls is so critical.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I have to make sure that I don't treat, when they come to me and they say, this is how you have or haven't been loving me, I need, no matter how silly that may sound or trivial these things they might come up with, I cannot be dismissive. I have to be receptive. I have to reciprocate that. I have to, that was maybe the wrong word, but I'm obligated, because they're mine, to make sure that is handled correctly. Because so much of their worth seems to be tied into, it's a huge eye-opener for me in how I view them. Whereas, I want to be honest with you, like, being an angsty little boy, I didn't really fully care what my parents thought about me a lot of times. But I noticed that talking to different women of all ages, I've noticed that, man, it really matters. Dad's approval really matters. And I've talked to men that struggle with, man, I never really did make the approval of dad.
Yeah.
But again, a guy kind of handles it a little bit different at the end of the day, you know?
Yeah.
The girl, it's sad that you see the wreckage that can actually take place.
Yeah.
And then coming off the heels of the re-softening of my heart after I had confessed to you that it's like, you know, how can I want to do this thing with you and in private know that I don't feel love for the people that I'm actually can be effective for.
Yeah.
And then God reopening my heart and softening my heart to that. And that's ongoing also. and that's been great. Yeah, man. A lot going on in Camp John.
Yeah.
And I'll make it. I always do. That's the one thing about me, man, is just I had a person that is into the star stuff
Oh yeah. Tell you something.
tell me something one time where it was unique about the and that's why sometimes it's compelling to listen to, that the Gemini has this thing where it's like the more you try to crush them, it's almost like the stronger it makes them. So yeah, I'll be fine. I'll come out of this. But having your friendship, like I texted you, really, man, I would still do this. It would be different if I was doing it without you. I would still do this. I would still feel convicted to do this. Man, having you in my corner and unwavering is awesome. Having
My pleasure, man.
a buddy. Yeah. It's cool, man. It's cool. Yeah. Gotta have dreams, but nightmares are dreams too, and the light at the end of the tunnel is just a freight train.
What is that from?
That's from a Metallica song, actually.
That's hilarious.
The soothing light at the end of your tunnel is just a freight train coming your way. The nightmares or dreams thing was somebody said at work one time that stuck with me. An older guy said that.
That's intense.
I was like, what's going on? He's like, oh, living the dream. And then he looked at me and he says, but remember, nightmares are dreams too. And I was like, you're barely literate. And that was scary.
You're barely literate and that terrified.
It's cooler today, so I got my standard uniform back on.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, dude, it was chilly.
It was a little bit. I kind of liked it. The air had a nice crispness to it. Yeah, man, I was reading it again. I'm proud. I am legitimately proud of what we've put, and it's, even though it's just an initial effort, I'm genuinely proud of it. And I love the contrast between our personalities that shine through, and it's like we're talking about the same thing, yet we're not talking about the same thing almost. And to me, it's an artistic expression. And it's kind of cool. I can't wait to get dunked on.
You know it's coming too.
Oh, man. The dunking.
Yep.
Yeah. But I think for every dunking, that has the possibility of having two positive outcomes.
Yeah. You're not wrong.
Because of our history, I wouldn't be as confident with this if it wasn't for our shared history.
Yeah.
And knowing of how we could captivate and command a room and public speak weekly and have 20 people paying attention and telling us our opinion was valuable, 20 or more people telling our opinion was valuable.
Yeah.
I would not have that level of confidence or the amount of people in my life that seek my insight for the things that they are. It's like, you know what? I am kind of built for this. And without that, I wouldn't have that confidence. And again, like, that's the thing that it is that after we get the rest of the social media is established and then putting money behind advertising it and doing things on TikTok and whatnot to get eyeballs on it, because you could get guys like V-Shreds. Like, why is that guy a millionaire?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's because they dumped a bunch of money in advertising.
Yeah.
That's the name of the game. You just got to get eyeballs on it, you know?
Yep.
And then the real balls show up. That was weird. I need to get my soundboard. I was always dreaming about setup. Or a bell. But yeah. I like what you're doing. I can see it. It's very vivid and colorful over there.
Yeah, it's definitely a learning curve, like I said, but I like it.
Oh man, I didn't really do that great in the back half of this week to remember to read the Bible like I told you that we should challenge ourselves to. So we got to retry this week.
Yeah. I felt the same way.
We got to retry this week. But hey, man, you know the first step to failure is trying.
I did listen to some Ravi talks, though.
I got to get back into that, too. I miss that guy.
Dude, the thing that he says that is just so good is when he talks about, like, establishing when someone questions you where you're both at. Because if you start down that path of, well, I'm going to immediately answer your question, you might not even be going in the direction that would answer their question to them. And if that's really what you truly want to do, rather than just roasting somebody in front of everyone for all to see, then you really need to establish where the questioner is coming from. And the way he does that whenever he talks at universities where he's like, hey, you know, we have heteronymous, autonomous, theonomous, like, where are you at?
Yep, exactly. Exactly. You have to, and that's partially why in the book, that has also inspired him partially of why I set the definitions, you know, like in my relationship chapter, I take that first whole, and it takes up a lot of space in my chapter, but I set up that whole thing of like, let me redefine some of these terms that we use. Like, what does it mean when we say to love a person? I think it's lost. It's completely lost. And part of it is because the definitions have evaporated.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why I took all that time to reestablish. Oh, something bad happened?
No, I'm just bobbing my head to the beat.
And I do that frequently in the book. For that very reason is because you need to know. We need to know what I mean when I say this so that you can understand it better. And it can approach it better.
Doodle-doo.
One of the other things I can't wait to establish is, and man, this is a controversial hot take, especially for a professing Christian to say, but man, I know I've talked to you about this a bunch before, but I just don't think unconditional love is real. And the older I get and the more I experience, I'm just like, yeah, this isn't real. That is just not a thing that exists. Now, from a biblical perspective, there is the unconditional salvation thing. No, it's not so much that it's unconditional. I said this wrong. Is that it is for everyone. There isn't a condition for you to approach it, but there is a condition for you to accept it and to live it. You know, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like it would be a semantic argument, but I feel like enough people dishonestly hide in the semantics of it that that's what makes it difficult to talk about.
What, unconditional love?
Yeah.
I just don't think it's real. Because when you get down to the brass tacks of anything, I can get you to a point to where you'd be like, yeah, that's a no-go for me. Right? And then logically, you have to take that and say, well, if it's a no-go for me, you have to apply that to experiencing the creator. But maybe it's not that his love is necessarily conditional. I don't know. This sounds weird and contradictory, but experiencing it is? I don't know. That sounds weird.
Well, the condition is, that's the thing that I think gets mixed up with the condition of it, is the condition is you don't have to do anything necessarily to earn it because it's not given to you because it's earned. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you do have to open yourself to it. So that's a condition.
It's initial. There's an initial. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So wait a minute. Maybe I do take it back. It's just doesn't. I think that's a lie. But I don't know that it's a lie from a place of. To some people, it is a lie of manipulation.
Yeah.
But I don't think that it exists, because while the condition might be easily fulfilled. Okay, I'll give you that. Maybe the conditions are easily fulfilled, you know? But it's still there, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the openness, the willingness to accept, for in the context of salvation, it's the confessing that you've sinned, confessing that you need realignment and to be saved, and then that you believe. Those are conditions. Those are all conditions, and sure that it's very easy to do for some people. So it might be easy to fulfill the conditions, but they're there.
Mm-hmm.
You know? They're there. They are absolutely there.
Yeah. I'm going to do something weird, and I'm going to sit down in front of this. Perfect drum stools.
Oh my gosh, they can see you now.
Oh,
Man, you're going to be rocking a short hair. I'm a little bit jealous.
I'm not going to lie, man. It's one of those deals where I never feel like I really got to enjoy having long hair. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I never got to let it down all the time, and stuff like that. And then because I work and where I work, and it just makes it difficult and stuff like that. And then the other thing is I think I kept on to it a little bit longer because you know me and how stubborn I am. And like whenever I grew my hair out, you had all those old boomer dudes that were like, "Oh, you look like a fruitcake. You need to cut that. Oh, well, what is your, this, that,
That's
whatever."
half the reason I still have mine.
Exactly. That's why I kept mine so long. It's because I'm like, no, I'm gonna keep it long because it makes you mad, and I like making you mad. Like,
what a D-head, dude. I know, but I get it.
Yeah, it's so bad. But at this end of the day, it's like that's part of the reason I kept it is just because I was honestly of the mindset where I was like, I'm going to grow it out. If I don't like it, I'll cut it immediately and go back. Well, then I grew it out, and then everybody just went out of their way. Like, I hadn't decided yet, and then they went out of their way to insult me all the time without me asking for their opinion. So I was like, I'm just going to keep it because it makes you angry. Which is terrible, but whatever.
Yeah. When I go get my hair cut, everyone there marvels. They're like, holy smokes, how much hair I actually have.
Mm-hmm.
And then they lift the hair up and see that half of it's cut off.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh my gosh, this is only half of your hair.
Yeah.
And what's wild is the part of my hair that's cut short is the part that is thicker and more coarse.
Yes.
Which is like a double, like, whoa.
Yeah.
I'm so blessed, man. I hate to say this knowing the things that you worry about, but I'll never have to worry about that.
Yep.
I will never have to worry about that.
That's the thing is, so in hair thinning and everything like that, that's why, not that I'm going to do this, but that's why hair plugs work is because, so why it happens to some people and not others is because your hair follicles respond to stress. stress hormones. So when they respond to stress hormones, it kills them. That's why you can lose your hair if you're too stressed out. And the reason that the hair transplants work is because for whatever reason, the hair on the back of your head is immune to that. For whatever reason.
Protect your neck.
Yeah. So what they do is they just graft the hair follicles on the back of your neck on top of your head, and that hair is permanent for the rest of your life because those hair follicles are immune to that response.
Interesting.
Isn't that weird?
That is super weird. Yeah, and you know what, man? I am glad that I can manage my stress fairly well, because I noticed that as a very underestimated skill.
Yes.
You know, another thing too, man, is no matter, you have to do some really awful stuff to me before I will cut you off from my life.
Mm-hmm.
Or if I feel like you're dangerous. If I feel like you're too dangerous, I have to do that for obvious reasons. It's not just that you slighted me, because there's a bunch of people I had to cut off, but it's not just that you slighted me.
Yeah.
It's that you're dangerous. You know, your recklessness is going to bleed over and affect me.
Yeah.
But man, I just don't have it in me to manipulate and to plan anyone's demise or to want to do anything bad to a person. And I'm beginning to realize that there is not a whole lot of people that operate like that. That is not a thing that happens. But the things that you know that I can't talk about, I still would never do anything to damage anyone. I just won't do it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that to you. I refuse to. I'm standing on business. No matter how bozo you are and how cheeks the situation can be, I'm standing on, no, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that to you. I'm not going to fully abandon you. Like God didn't do that to Israel. He walks to the threshold. He let him be alone and enslaved for 400 years, because where his voice isn't, he cannot be, which means if you aren't listening to me and responding to me, I can't be there.
Right.
Yeah. But I still am not going to, I'll leave you to your vices, but I won't, man. I know too many people that are, and people that I like that are close to me, they have a little bit too much of this streak in them where they're very vindictive and vengeful. And unfortunately, I think I was harboring that inside, even though I won't outwardly express that. But I was harboring it inside for too long, you know?
Yeah.
So, got about 30 minutes left, and then we're gonna go outside and smoke cigars. Yeah! Heck yeah, dude. Pretty cool. I enjoy who I am, no matter if it's harder and the authentic route is harder.
Yeah.
And they get you tore up, man, sometimes, but it doesn't matter. I'm not wavering. And you know, another thing that I do that I'm continuously blessed for and I'm happy about is that I don't play that game of why God.
Yeah.
I never blame him for, like, his plan wasn't this. You know, it's like that Alice in Chains line that is loosely related to this. That's really cool in the song Your Decision, where he says it's about ending yourself. And he says, you know, no one planned to take the path that brings you lower. Yet here you stand before us all and say it's over. What a cool line. like you need to remember that that wasn't his plan and that wasn't your plan, you know?
Yeah.
So how can I be mad and play the why God thing? How did you allow this to happen? It's like, I won't let myself do that, you know? And I was just,
That's one of those things that I don't like doing either, because at the same, like, it makes it seem like all of a sudden you forgot you had a choice in the matter.
yeah.
Like, no, I've never forgot the fact that I made these decisions. Do.
quiet.
I did. I'm doing the really fun part, like going over it with the black outline, because it makes everything that I've done so far actually start popping.
It does look cool.
Super fun.
It does look cool. So this weekend, I'm going to go ahead and record my voice reading that thing that you want me to read, because I think that's a great first go at it with the TikTok and the reel and everything like that.
Yeah.
Parts of that. I'll finally send it to you. And then you know what? I say for now, because it'd be too hard for me to do what I'm talking about doing, which is playing over trending music, and then we can mix the two audios. Let's just use trending music, because I want to take advantage of as many of the things that we can do that will propel us into the algorithm, because that's the name of the game. You got to break through the algorithm. So it'd be smarter to do that, I think.
Yeah.
And then when you come here, you can enjoy the original music in its spurts. Ooh, that was the L bone.
I heard that.
Yikes. Sound like somebody clapping.
Like somebody clapping.
I'm also going through a phase now where I'm trying to analyze the ways that I am a toxic person, because I don't. You got to keep it real, man. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You're toxic. I'm toxic. I am what's wrong with the world after all. And I really want to try to fix those things.
Right.
One of the things is that I don't know, I think maybe I hold people to too high of a standard around me. But anytime that I've relaxed on that, I get burned. It's tough to want to balance that out, man.
Yeah, I was just messing with getting myself some quality video just there since you brought that up. So I can mess with that later.
Nice. I need to make a bunch of this. There's no reason I shouldn't have 2 hours worth of music that sounds just like this. I need to get to writing. Yeah. I'm about brain dead. I'm tired today, dude.
Yeah. I'm about like it myself, but like it's easy to shut that part of me off whenever I'm doing something like this.
Yeah. This is a boring one. I really didn't play guitar.
I'm just in the zone over here. I feel like what's this, 2 boring ones in a row that we've just kind of not really talked?
I haven't done much in the last 2.
We'll have to pick it up next week.
Yeah, I should be back. What threw me off this week is I wasn't even sure if we were going to be able to stream
Oh yeah, with
because I
the
was trying to put the basement back together.
yeah,
So
no, you're good.
I don't know how many more times I've got to hear the same thing from just like random, like, I feel like God is trying to scream at me at this point.
Yeah.
I don't get it. That sincerity thing keeps coming up. That raw realness. Is everything getting so fake that it's just, I guess, that a person that is mostly authentic is just that noticeable?
I guess.
Is it that rare of a thing? Because you've got that exact same quality, and is it that rare? That makes me sad. Is everybody? It's that saying, that unknown quote. You know, I was a fool because I showed up to a costume party without a mask. You know, am I that guy? But I've been just hearing it from all these different, like, I know for a fact that these people don't convene to treat me like the Truman Show.
Yeah.
They don't know each other. And it's like I'm hearing I hear the same thing almost word for word from a bunch of different. It's interesting. Basically what I'm getting at is it's not so much like I'm trying to inflate my own ego. It's more so of that maybe this is a unique thing in me that I don't notice as being unique, that I need to start treating as unique, but not for gain or not to inflate my ego, but to understand that this is a quality that fits into John being John.
Yeah.
There's a you see what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I don't need to take it as like, hey man, you're better for this. I don't need to take it as, you know, yeah, it's just yeah, it's just is what it is, and it's maybe something I need to try to share more. Like, how do you get that? How do you be that if you want it?
Mm-hmm.
When it's actually burned me, because I think that happens more often than not. When to keep it guarded, how to cultivate it, and how to harvest it in you if you want to be authentic. You got to understand that when you're authentic, though, and this person isn't playing the game of authenticity, it's actually an act of vulnerability in certain contexts on your part because you're so authentic. But because I think that everybody's being authentic, I'm not really putting it in the right light to being like, hey, you know what? You are making yourself vulnerable in this instance by being so authentic. They aren't.
Yeah.
So you're going to get taken advantage of. So many different ways of looking at that. And I guess when everything's so fake nowadays, it's just that person shows up and everything changes. The mood shifts. The conversation changes.
Ooh, dropping stuff.
Man, I'm gonna talk your ear off after this because while I don't have the stream energy, half the stuff I want to say I can't put on the internet.
Yeah, I think that ends up becoming a problem. It's like, because when we want to sit in here and talk about stuff, like, it's got to be fun stuff, you know what I mean? But if everything that happened in our life this week is not really that fun,
Oh, hell no.
then it's kind of hard to
Absolutely
come
not.
up with.
You know, and as the community grows and stuff like that, I am willing to be a little more nebulous about this. And you know, if this changes my life, and I have, you know, we're one of these kind of people now.
Mm-hmm.
I can be a little more open about some things, but as of now, I have to be very guarded about what I say.
Agreed.
Because I would like to be a little more open. I think one thing that will help grow trust in a community and everything is the openness and the willingness to share the fact that if we are eventually viewed as a leader or a leader type of a person, which is essentially what this is leading towards.
Mm-hmm.
Being raw and open about the fact that, hey, listen, I'm still working on me.
Yeah.
And this is how I'm, you know, like, there's got to be a nice way to pull that off too. I'm not afraid, like, if I am viewed as a leader, I'm not afraid to just be like, hey, you know, here's this. I'm struggling. I'm not having a good week. I'm not in a good headspace. You know, I need support from the group right now. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And there ain't nothing wrong with that. That's another fault of mine is I don't ask for help, man, and it's really hindered a lot of this stuff. Even the stuff that we do, I don't ask for enough help.
I mean,
and I need to probably ask for more help, which I'm going to do. I'm going to cash all the chips because I kind of feel like for me too is just like, well, I guess you probably feel this too. This is a do or die. It's the Hail Mary.
mm-hmm.
You know, I'm pulling out all the stops on this, man. I'm going to be a sad little emo boy on here. I'm pulling out all the stops. I got to get an acoustic guitar up in here. I'm going for broke. Oh, man, I love it. Got Dusty down here. Oh, yeah, because I was moving all that stuff, too. Two minutes left. Do you want to extend and keep working, or you just want to do the thing where we hard cut it?
We can hard cut it. I might like draw for a couple more seconds, but I don't have much left to do on this that I don't know. Maybe I'll pick it up again next week. It depends on how I'm feeling. If that answered any of your questions.
It didn't really, but that's... It didn't really. There it is, buddy. We got the 9 o'clock. I'll let you go for a couple more minutes since you're.
I'm just gonna put blood on his face.
Do it. I'm gonna use the restroom.
All right.
It do be looking cool. That's pretty cool, man.
Looks neat.
I think you did pretty dang good, dude.
Yeah, whenever I do stuff like this too, I kind of free style it, I guess. I don't really try and just because I'm just trying to have fun, but I'm not worried about because like even like in his hair, you get like every little like I'm not really trying to be like that. I'm just trying to have fun, you know.
Yeah, you talking about Baldur's Gate 3?
Yep. Nerd.
All right, is that it?
That's it, man.
All right, man, we had a good one. This is a boring one. I'll get back in action for one of these times. All right.